Good morning, everybody. It is 3 o'clock in the morning where I'm at, and I got plenty of sleep for once, and this is my favorite time of night, if you will. And the wee hours of the morning, the apartment's dark and quiet, and I have total privacy, and I can be more myself and more relaxed, so no interruptions from outside. So this is the time I said now is the time to do my next video. So you'll probably see me doing a lot of that in the coming videos in the coming weeks and months, years. We'll see. So this is vlog number 3, and from this point for this one and the next, I counted them like 6 or 7 videos. I'm going to be doing a series of videos where I talk about my life as a music fan from when I was a young kid into my teens and early adulthood, and then you'll see. And right now, the first video is going to be my childhood in the 1970s. So I was born in 1968, so this timeline starts in the mid-70s, 73, 4, and 5. 1978, I was 10. That's really when it kicked in, but I'm looking at my notes again, off camera. So I grew up listening to country and western music because that's what my family listened to, as most young kids do. You listen to what your parents and your brothers and sisters, whatever's in the house. And at that time as well, through that, I became a huge fan of Ronnie Milsap, the country singer. And of course, Mom and Dad loved that. Family, lots of thumbs up on that one. They approved, and I joined a Ronnie Milsap fan club, in fact. And I got to see him in one show on his 1978 tour. He played a gig in Salem, Virginia. I think it was at a county fair somewhere, and we were on vacation, family vacation, which always took us up into West Virginia and Virginia, so 77. I think it was 77. I've got the photos over here. I'll whip them out in a minute. Nope. Photos say it was 78, so yeah. I'll show you those. Oh, here. These are the photos of the gig. So there I am in the carousel horse at the county fair with my Ronnie Milsap tour shirt on that we had just bought. We had purchased it, maybe at the merch booth, I don't remember, but that's what I was wearing. Oh, they weren't that hard to find back then, so. And there's pictures from the stage. And the one in the right-hand corner is me. Was with my mom. And my cousin Patty is the one in the blue shirt. And I'm the one, I've got my chin in my hands, and I'm looking up at the stage quite happily, quite dreamily. That was me. Let's see, who went with me? I think it was, well, at least cousin Patty in the blue shirt. We know that. That must have been my mom's purse. The white purse in the back, in the foreground. Had to have been, but I'm not sure. There's cousin Patty. We can vouch for her. Hi, Patty. I'm going to put this on Facebook, or I'll share this video with her, and she'll remember. Okay, so there's Ronnie on the stage, and WSLC was the radio station that was hosting the show. Okay, all right. It says August 5th, 78, Salem, Virginia. Okay, and then the last photo I have is, whoops, there. The other ones are just miscellaneous family photos, but wait a minute, hang on, let me get it straightened out here. That's me backstage with Ronnie at that same show, and how it came to be was my father in his office, the company he worked at, he had a guy that he worked with that had connections to Ronnie, the promoter, or some such thing. And through that, we got our concert tickets. I don't know if they were comp tickets, but we at least, that's how this meet and greet. My Aunt Dot, oh my God, I can't believe I just had that brain fart. My Aunt Dot was the one that took the picture. Was it Patty? I remember my Aunt Dot, Patty's mom, taking the photo. Anyway, you can see in the background the other, I think this right here is my Aunt Dot. It looks like her. I'll ask Patty if she remembers. But anyway, whoever took the photo, God bless him. And I remember that moment very vividly. I knew that I was going to be going backstage to meet him at that point, either during the show or whatever. So I was preparing for it, and I was prepared for it, but when, oh, that's better. As most people do when they're backstage for the first time with their musical heroes, they blank out, and I'm starstruck and I don't know what to say. That's the look on my face. I'm 10 years old. And there's Ronnie, of course. We know what he looked like. His hair was all sweaty from the show. He'd just come off stage, did not shower. Probably had a bite to eat or something, I'm not sure, but he was sweaty from the show, didn't even... And that was his stage outfit. You can see his arm. He's putting his arm on my shoulder as he talked to me now. For those of you who don't know, he's blind, so he was not seeing me, but I was seeing him. And this is my first official meet and greet with my first major musical hero. And again, for those of you, I'm going to put this back now. For those of you who have not had that privilege yet, that honor, I'll let you know that whatever you think you're going to talk to them about, you can make a list of, I'm going to say this, this, and this, and they're going to react like this, that you script it out in your mind like a movie. It's not going to happen that way at all. Well, it might. I can't say that, but chances are most likely it's not going to happen that way. It'll be something totally different, but you're still going to like it. It's still going to be cool. Okay. So that's the meet and greet. Okay, flipping the notes. Looking off camera while I flip the notes over. Okay, okay, so I sang that I liked country music, and Ronnie Millsap was my main. Oh, I joined I said the fan club, but we got a quarterly newsletter, and that was better than a fan magazine any day. And at one point, I had a scrapbook of Ronnie stuff where I had the check that my mom wrote, $12 check for the fan club dues, and I gave away my Ronnie binder to a Ronnie fan group on Facebook a few years ago. It had that tour shirt in it, the one that I was wearing. I kept it in a Ziploc bag, and again, part of me wishes I'd kept it, but yeah, I figured, I don't mind, but the memories are still here. They're up here and they're in here. That's all that matters. Anyway, so in addition to country music, looking at my notes again, I also was aware of and enjoyed many, many songs in the rock, pop, and yes, even disco genre. Radio, on radio, TV. You know what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to document. Ooh, next video, I'm going to do a document stand. So it's right here in front of me. I just got to do this. I'm learning. Leaning up against a toaster, maybe it's not going to stand up. Okay. So I've watched a lot of radio. I listened to a lot of radio. Not just country music station, but I found the local rock station, pop music. It was rock and pop, whatever. Movies. I watched a lot of movies as well as a kid. So I was exposed to a variety of different musical styles at that point. So through those, this is pre-MTV, I might add. Those of us that were young enough, teenagers that remember the start of MTV. Yes, this is before all that. So I quickly found other things that I liked, but my family didn't. But I enjoyed all these there were usually just one-hit wonder, one-off songs. I was never a fan of any one artist. Like Ronnie was my main guy. So they were just an assortment of songs like you would have on a playlist on Spotify or YouTube today. Pre-MTV. Well, yeah, now, on a side note, now we have country music television came along some decades after that. Kind of like country version of MTV. Separate video, later. I get sidetracked easily, that's why I make these notes. Okay. But I enjoyed all these other songs and things by myself. These weren't things that my brothers might have even been into them a little bit, but I don't remember ever rating my brother. I had 2 older brothers, and I don't remember ever rating any of their music collections. They would have had vinyl records and 8-track tapes. I know they at least had 8 tracks for their cars and trucks, stuff that teenagers would have been into back then. So I don't remember ever borrowing their records or 8 tracks. So I got them from my house, for my family, but I enjoy them alone. And that brings me to point number 4, the last point, that I listened to my favorite music alone. I did everything alone. All my TV and movie watching and radio listening I did by myself because I didn't have any friends as a kid. I was a proverbial loner. I was bullied at school incessantly and mercilessly. School was not a happy place for me at all. And the only thing that made me happy, school was something to be endured. During the day, like I was in prison, that's exactly how I felt. Until the time that I could come back home in the afternoon, and the first thing I did is I went to my room, and I found my record player. I think I had a record player in my room, I'm not sure. I had a TV, though, a small TV. So I closed the door, and I had my books, and my TV, and my music, and a typewriter. And that's another video for a future blog, but I'd been creative writing since I was a kid. I was a kid back then since I was wee high to a grasshopper. Now I could type. Electric typewriter, ooh. So I could come home to my electric typewriter and my books and my movies, close the door to my bedroom, and I'd write stories and jam, and I was happy. Only then was I really and truly happy until the next morning, until dinner time, when I had to stop and go out and have dinner. And then the next morning I had to go back to school, but the weekends were really cool. The weekends were my salvation. So, needless to say, like any other kid, I know a lot of people have had this experience that music, reading, writing, and short stories, they gave me comfort and happiness and entertainment. And was my window to the world. And my family also had, in addition to the books, the kids' books that I collected, that I enjoyed. One of the things that we did in my school was we had one of those bookmobiles that came around school maybe once or twice a year, and you would order books ahead of time from an order form that the teacher provided, and then they would bring the books to the school, usually in the library, and then you collect what you ordered. School library at elementary school, ooh, that was huge. That was where I got a lot of free books. Public library, yep. I got a public library card almost about the same time, so I had plenty of sources of entertainment. My window to the world. And then also at home, my parents had their bookshelf in my dad's office, but the encyclopedias. We had a Funkin' Wagnalls. Remember the Funkin' Wagnalls? We had one. We had one that had a commemorative photo section in the middle about the launch of the Apollo rockets in the 60s. And as a matter of fact, Dad may still have it next door. I'll have to ask him about that. Anyway, so that was point number 4, the last one. Oh, and I made myself a Post-it note. Mom and Dad had a record collection as well. And I'm checking with Dad about that if he still has it. And if so, I'm going to acquire it for myself. And they don't listen. They stopped listening to those records years ago, but they just held on to them when they were in a bedroom closet at one time. get my hands on those. I don't have a turntable of my own, but that's going to change when finances allow, finances and floor space in my home allows. There's not enough room in my little apartment right now for it, but it's on the bucket list. And I just thought of something else, but future video. Wait. Okay, so that was it. Record collection. Yep, I mentioned Ronnie. And okay, I think we're good. If it wasn't for these notes, if you talk to me offline, you'll quickly see that I'm a talking warrior. And I can talk and talk and talk for hours and hours and hours, and I never wear out until I lose my voice and I just start chugging water. But okay, how are we doing on time? Let's look at my timeline. Ooh, I'm getting better at this. 15 minutes. All right, I'm going to shut it off. I want to try to keep my videos under 20 minutes. I met that goal. So I'm going to shut this off and I'm going to go upload it. No editing yet. I'm working toward that. Timeline editing. Maybe. We'll see. Right now it's just a talking head. Me. And then we stop and we upload. This is what you would get in real life. All right. See you guys. Remember, I enabled comments, so feel free. Something, again, I mentioned this in the other video that I didn't think I'd ever do, but I did. Because that is the point of combating isolation. Other people can talk back to me. We can have conversations about the things I've shared. Otherwise, it's not really social media, is it? It's just Kim talking to herself in a camera. I do enough of that as it is, so. This now is my time to share my thoughts and feelings and make new friends and stimulate conversations, hopefully. We'll see. See you guys shortly. Thank you for watching and thank you for following. And if it's your first time, thank you for watching. And if you're a repeat customer, thank you for repeating, coming back. And we'll see you again very soon.